I can always identify someone who doesn't have a great grasp on history if they see medicalization as a stamp of inherent virtue. This comes up a lot when I talk about how the word obese is a slur. At least one person will always pop their head out of the ground to say, obese is a medical term, as if that somehow makes it better. You know what else used to be a medical term? Like a lot of bad shit we don't say anymore, because we realized it was stigmatizing as fuck and it actively harmed people. You can Google them, I'm not going to say them here. Science and language are both constantly evolving and updating. The medical establishment is not exempt from this. If anything, it's actually a particularly strong example of how this happens. We don't need to look too far back into history at all to see how medical terminology and practices change. For example, homosexuality is no longer diagnosed as a mental illness. Female hysteria is not something that's diagnosed anymore. Cocaine and heroin are no longer prescribed as anesthetics or cough suppressants. Lysol cleaning spray is no longer used as a douche. We don't perform ice pick lobotomies anymore. And doctors no longer advocate for the health benefits of smoking cigarettes. Oops. More importantly, when a marginalized group tells you that a word or practice harms them, you can just go ahead and believe them. There is a saying I see a lot in toxic fitness spaces, which is, you'll never regret a workout. Just do it. You'll never regret it. And I don't know about anyone else, but there are definitely a lot of workouts from my past that I regret. I regret every workout I ever did where I forced myself to do it, even though my mind or my body or both were telling me that what I actually needed was rest. I regret the times when I worked out to the point of pain, tears, injury, or to the point of feeling superior to other people. I regret the times when my workouts were motivated by self-hatred, insecurity, comparison, people-pleasing, or self-punishment. And by the way, all of these scenarios were normal for me, as they are for many people. So if the way that you're moving your body isn't bringing you joy, you can either change the way you're moving your body, or you can just take a break from exercise for a while. Both of those are better options than living a miserable life. I think because we talk about body image and fat phobia together so much, we sometimes forget those are separate things. And it is actually exhausting being someone who talks about anti-fatness frequently to have those conversations be misunderstood and derailed into being about body image. When I'm talking about systemic anti-fatness, I am not talking about how I feel about my body. I love my body with the best of them, but I cannot love my body out of employment discrimination or medical discrimination. I can't love my body into equal pay or equal access to health care. Fat people live in a world that pays us less, charges us more, denies us health care, openly ridicules and excludes us, and then tells us the solution is to love our bodies. But it's not. The solution is to give fat people access to the same rights, resources, and services that thin people get without question. The solution is activism and policy change. Anytime I talk about the problems with the BMI, the most common response I always get is, okay, well, what should we use instead? And the answer is nothing. Get rid of it and replace it with nothing. We literally don't need it. If a patient needs to be assessed for an illness, doctors use diagnostic testing to do that. If a patient has an illness, the doctor will treat that illness. If medications need to be dosed based on weight, there are formulas that already exist to calculate those dosages. If a doctor wants to educate a patient about the benefits of health-promoting behaviors, they can and should do that with all their patients. There is no medical scenario where the BMI or any tool like the BMI is the most effective, most specialized tool for the job. None. We already have systems and tools in place to meet whatever a patient's specific health needs may be. Categorizing and pathologizing patients based on weight is and has always been lazy medicine.